Morgan Stanley's MSBT logs, 194 hours in first month with zero outflow days. Morgan Stanley's spot Bitcoin product, ticker MSBT, recorded $194 million of net inflows during its first month of trading and posted no days of net outflows over that period, according to a report from WuBlockchain on May 11, 2026. The figure came as Bitcoin traded at $81,344, up 0.9% on the day and 3.8% on the week per CoinMarketCap data captured at the time of writing. A bank channel debut. Not a hot money launch, $194 million across roughly 20 trading days works out to about $9.7 million per session on average. That is small next to the early 2024 launch of the BlackRock and Fidelity spot Bitcoin ETFs, which pulled in billions in their opening weeks. But the read is different here. MSBT's inflows came through Morgan Stanley's own distribution, financial advisors, private wealth desks, and the bank's broader brokerage book. That channel does not move on hype. It moves on suitability reviews, model portfolio additions, and approved product lists. A first month with no daily net outflow days suggests the inflows are subscription-driven rather than tactical trading. A trading-driven product would show two-way flow as buyers and sellers cycle in and out. A wealth channel product looks more like a slow drip, with allocations turned on for one client at a time and rarely turned off in the first weeks. The no outflow days detail matters. For context, every other major U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF has logged outflow days at some point, including the largest products from BlackRock and Fidelity. The 2024 cohort saw redemption clusters tied to price drawdowns and to specific risk-off macro days. A clean first month for MSBT does not imply the product is immune. It suggests the holders are different. Wealth advisor allocations rebalance on a quarterly cadence, not a daily one, so flow stickiness is structural rather than convictional. The real test will come on the first sharp Bitcoin drawdown, when retail flow ETFs typically see same-day redemptions, and wealth channel products typically do not. MSBT's place in the institutional stack, the U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF cohort, is now layered. BlackRock's IBIT remains the dominant accumulator. Fidelity's FBTC sits second. Then a long tail of issuers, including Bitwise, ARK, Grayscale's converted GBTC, and the smaller offerings from VanEck, Franklin, and others. MSBT enters as a bank-distributed product rather than a pure asset manager product. That distinction matters because it expands the buyer pool. Clients who would not self-direct into IBIT through a brokerage account will hold MSBT inside an existing Morgan Stanley relationship. Morgan Stanley already cleared its advisors to recommend Bitcoin ETFs in 2024. MSBT closes the loop by giving those advisors an in-house product to place into model portfolios, with the operational simplicity of a bank's own ticker. The macro backdrop helped Bitcoin's first-month window for MSBT coincided with a generally constructive tape. BTC sits near $81,344 and is up 3.8% over the past 7 days, with sentiment at a neutral 52 on the Crypto Fear and Greed Index as of May 11, 2026. That is not a euphoric environment, which is part of why the steady flow red holds. There is no pump backdrop forcing inflows. The flows are coming despite a flat to mildly positive market, not because of a parabolic one. If price had ripped 30% during MSBT's debut window, the $194 million figure would be harder to interpret. In a flat tape, it reads as a planned ramp. Implications for the broader market. 3 takeaways stand out. First, the institutional onboarding of Bitcoin still has runway. Each major U.S. bank that brings a wrapped product into its own distribution unlocks a wealth book that previously could not access spot Bitcoin directly. Second, the inflow profile of bank-distributed products will change how analysts read aggregated ETF flow data. Lumping MSBT into the same daily flow chart as IBIT and FBTC will smooth out the volatility, because bank channel flows are slower and stickier. Third, competing U.S. banks now have a benchmark. A first-month figure of $194 million with no outflow days sets the bar for any later entrant from JP Morgan, Goldman, Bank of America, or Wells Fargo. all of which have varying degrees of internal crypto product work in progress.